This video comes on the heel of Livette sharing her dream of what she saw happening in Turkey and Greece and in Cyprus. And when I heard it, my heart skipped a beat and my jaw almost hit the floor. And I was driving because I had talked about the same area, the Greek people, on my own. This was not planned. And then she talked about it, and I realized that things in my life opened up in my past as unimportant suddenly became important. And I think some of you should know a few things you may not know about what's in Turkey, especially in the strike zone that she indicated. Firstly, the political, because this is always how government wants to get involved. Let me show you this clip.
If a deal to reunify Cyprus is reached, one of the benefits could be the large amount of money to be made from natural gas. The Aphrodite gas field was discovered 5 years ago and could support the island for years to come. And for some, that's a major factor for the two sides to reach an agreement. TRT World's correspondent Andrew Hopkins reports from Cyprus.
When Vasilikos power station was damaged in an explosion in 2011, there were widespread electricity cuts across the Greek Republic of Cyprus. It's the country's main power station, and it highlighted how Cyprus was dependent on only one type of energy production.
Cyprus has been, both Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots have been burning heavy fuel oil to generate electricity. It's expensive. So in at least Greek Cyprus, the electricity cost is one of the highest in Europe, if not the highest, one of the highest in Europe, and it's polluting.
But the discovery of the Aphrodite gas field has created an opportunity to change that. Greek Cyprus has already signed a deal with Greece and Israel to develop it. That's despite objections from Turkey and the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. They dispute the Greek Cypriots' right to drill there. It's also...
So this is the oil field they're talking about. Right here. This is the Aphrodite oil field. I'll show you some more pictures here. The reason why it's so in dispute is because countries have already staked their claims. And the Greek Cypriots want these two, with them, involved in the sale and not Turkey. It's basically what it comes down to. So let me follow it up with this video.
It is very likely that there are huge reserves of natural gas and oil in the eastern Mediterranean, which are currently mostly unexplored. This has become the subject of a dispute about exclusive economic zones, which are areas in the sea where a nation has the sole rights to explore the resources, for example, natural gas deposits. To understand the conflicts, let's first consider how maritime
Here, jumping ahead.
And the current dispute over economic zones is reigniting two old existing conflicts between Turkey and Greece. First, the territorial dispute in the Aegean Sea. Greece has many islands in this body of water, some of which are directly off the Turkish coast, which means Turkey has very little exclusive access to this sea. Currently, both countries implement their territorial claim as 6 nautical miles. However, Greece argues that the country is entitled to 12 nautical miles under the UN Convention. This would benefit Greece significantly more than Turkey, because the Greek islands are so close to Turkey anyway. So any increase in the number of nautical miles that the two countries consider to be territorial waters would hardly result in any real size increase for Turkey. It is a complex dispute which also centers around whether or not Greece has broken international agreements that bind the nation not to use these islands for military purposes. Part of the Treaty of Lausanne in 1923 was the extensive demilitarization of these islands, which is no longer followed. Greece, however, sees this as legitimate self-defense in the background of the clashes over these territories.
Now, to be clear, this is a government-to-government dispute. And this is not about general hatred between the people of Turkey towards the Greeks. If anything, Greeks currently have animosity towards the Turkish people more so, because the Turkish people remain unaware of the circumstances the government placed on the Greeks to force their migration. That's their education. It's known as this genocide. And yes, Greeks were a fraction of that greater this. And I would not put it past these people to force a situation where Greece does something and puts these people in harm's way. Greeks do still hold animosity towards the Turks, which has to be healed by the subsequent generations who did not live through those times. Okay. And for that, there's this movie called The Promise, which came out several years ago. It has Oscar Isaac as the star, Charlotte Le Bon as the love interest, and Christian Bale as well. It is a very good movie, and it's all about that incident. It's very politically, it was made under very political situations. It almost didn't get made. But yeah, this is, they still want to put these, they still want this area to be harmed, and we can't let that happen. Because the bigger picture is that there are some people who do biblically despise these people, to the point of calling for elimination, and that's what's at stake here. Now, the thing in Turkey I wanted to talk to you about. As a child, I was introduced to this church because my family was involved in knowing of this church and in being in worshiping, basically from afar, this church, because we could never reach it. Being in America and in the political situation, we could not go there. But this monastery is on the side of a mountain in northern Turkey, where I believe Levet indicated the horror would go. I don't remember what my father told me about it, because I didn't care at the time, but it had something to do with a relic that kept coming back to this place to build it here. I have never been here, and I've only seen books, and quite frankly, I grew up thinking no one would ever see it, because it sounded so strange that a church, this huge monastery would be on the side of a mountain. And the friction between the two countries would just forever be. But to explore this church, I found several videos, and one of which I will play. I'll play now. Give you drone footage first. This is the church, monastery. is short, unfortunately. I will show you now this footage.
There are a couple of amazing monasteries that I've wanted to see in this world. You've got the Meteora in Greece, you've got the Chapel in the Sky in Ethiopia, as well as, even though this isn't a monastery, but the Tiger's Nest in Bhutan, and that's just to name a few. But also on that list is the Sumela Monastery, which you're able to see right over there in the distance.
Yes.
And it is amazing to see it in person. I gotta say, we are totally blessed to be able to get a nice clear day like this today, because normally we've seen lots of pictures and it's all clouds out here.
Yeah.
But man, we can see it off in the distance. And whenever I come to places like this, I'm always in like awe and wonder, like, why is that the position of all the places that you could have put the monastery? Why on that cliff edge? And the reason is, two monks came here from Athens during the Byzantine period under the rule of Theodosius, and they came here, and as they were staying at the St. Barbara Church, they had a vision, and they had the vision of the Virgin Mary, and that is the place where they had the
found
vision,
it, yeah.
and that's where the monastery is today. So, man, I can't wait to go in there.
Very incredible.
Absolutely.
350 meters up these stairs and we should be at the monastery. So awesome that we got to have that other view before too, because I think it's a bit less well known, but it gives us that incredible long shot of Sumela.
Once we are up these stairs and through this little door at the end, we're actually going to be inside the monastery.
Yes, that's right. It's quite incredible when you first come up here and you're faced with this cliffside of the monastery. And I just saw a photo here that shows what the stairwell here used to look like a couple of decades ago. Ooh. It is noticeably much cooler in here, thank goodness, because it is very hot out there. We're here at the start of June, and we've also missed the school holiday, so there's no crowds, and I feel so lucky, both for a clear day and the no crowds.
1 in a million.
I know, right? Incredible is this place. From far away it sort of looks like a fortress, but up close it's more like a village that you can explore.
Totally.
And you can't go through all of it. There are some parts that are still under construction, but we do get to see a large amount, which is pretty incredible. It's unknown exactly when the original structure was first built, but it is dated to around the 4th century, and what we see that has survived today is believed to be from around the 13th century. You can even see some of the frescoes still on those walls over there.
Be my favorite room though. This is the chapel, and there are beautiful, beautiful frescoes lined all across on top of the roof as well as all over the walls. The nerd in me can't help but feel like this is a place where superheroes are going to get trained to become a superhero to fight the
to be continued in my second part of this